Hello and welcome to Eye on Africa, France 24's program focused on the continent. I'm Charlie James, filling in for Georgia Calvin Smith, and here's what's coming up. Benin's parliament votes to legalize abortion, a rare right allotted in Africa. We spoke with an abortion rights advocate who worked to get the law passed through parliament. Rival protests in Sudan's capital. Thousands of transitional government supporters turned out, while a pro-military rally continued outside the presidential palace. Our reporter takes you to the scene. And South Africans prepare for municipal elections, set to be a test of loyalty for the ruling African National Congress. Can the party of Nelson Mandela retain its historic power? Thanks so much for joining us today. Benin has become one of the few African countries to legalize abortion in most circumstances. Previously legal only in cases of rape, incest, or for serious health reasons of the mother or fetus, this new law allows the procedure if pregnancy would cause material, educational, professional, or moral distress. The law was passed on Wednesday night following a debate in Parliament, but still needs to be ratified by the Constitutional Court before it takes effect. Earlier today, I spoke with Kader Ananan, an advocate for safe abortion services in Cotonou, Benin. He helped secure passage of this law, and I asked him what convinced MPs that abortion rights needed to be expanded.
I think it's very important to mention that according to the latest available figures from WHO, Benin maternal mortality ratio is 397 deaths per 100,000 live birth. And this is equal to 1,006 preventable maternal deaths in 2017. So it was very important to have discussion with MPs, and the main discussion we have with them was just to bring evidence and clinical data from health providers and show the maternal mortality rate in Benin, because we also show the importance of the need to improve the rate and the indicator regarding SDGs. Like the country have made a commitment to reduce the global maternal mortality ratio to 70 maternal deaths, and this will be measured in 2030, like in nine years. So it was very important to provide them information to make decisions and have this law been voted. So we also show them that Benin have signed many international treaties, for example, Maputo Protocol, and have the legal duty to respect their commitment.
You also work in communities to promote sexual and reproductive health, especially among young people in Benin. And this is a country where the use of contraception still remains relatively rare. So from your experience, how will this law change the lives of women and families?
Definitely, this law will reduce complication-related pregnancy. This law will reduce gender-based violence within the community, because many women are facing violence, are raped, even by their close partner, and they can't access safe abortion services. And this new law will allow them to empower themselves and make decisions regarding their own body. This new law will definitely support women's rights to come through. Actually, many organizations are working to empower women, but in case of abortion, people most of the time don't see the importance to give the power to women.
Thousands of people protested in Sudan's capital Thursday, demanding a fully civilian government. The nation has been ruled by an interim civilian and military government ever since the army ousted longtime ruler Omar al-Bashir back in 2019. But the relationship between military generals and Sudanese pro-democracy groups has been deteriorating. Our correspondent, Caroline Kimu, is in Khartoum and sent us this report.
Anti-government protesters have gathered in front of the presidential palace, where they have been staging a sit-in for the last week. They are demanding the resignation of Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok, who they consider incompetent.
We will stay here until our demands are met. And then we will try to get a good government, one that will usher in a better future for the country.
Some are asking the military to seize power and spearhead the democratic transition.
We want the army to support the people, and the people have demands. We cannot have a transitional government that stays in power for 15 years. We want a transitional period of 9 months, followed by transparent elections.
Supporters of the Prime Minister, on the other hand, called for a counter-protest with the objective of bringing together 1 million people.
We came here to support the civilian government that we chose. We reject military intervention. They are trying to harm the government. We support civilians, civilians, civilians.
Here, the protesters demand that the spirit of the revolution be respected. The coup that ousted Omar al-Bashir from power in 2019 was aimed at bringing the military regime to an end.
We don't want them. We went out onto the streets to demand economic reforms. We, the citizens, went onto the streets for a fully civilian government.
Resolving the economic crisis is one of the government's main tasks. Another is organizing elections in 2023 to make the democratic transition a reality, a role that pro-army protesters would like to take from it.
For a third day this week, Ethiopia's government carried out an airstrike on Tigray's regional capital, Mekelle. A government spokesperson said the target was a military training center. Nearly a year into its war against rebellious Tigrayan forces, the bombardments are escalating the conflict and its repercussions for civilians. Thousands of people have been killed since the war began last November, and millions currently face starvation. South Africans will head to the polls on November 1st to vote in local government elections. The vote expected to be a test of whether the current ruling party, the African National Congress, can maintain its majority. President Cyril Ramaphosa has been out campaigning for the ANC. Thursday, he visited several neighborhoods around Cape Town, and our correspondent Nadine Theron was there.
President Cyril Ramaphosa spoke only isiXhosa to his Western Cape supporters on the campaign trail today. The Western Cape is the only province of South Africa where the African National Congress does not dominate the political landscape. The official opposition party, the Democratic Alliance, has been in charge of Cape Town since 2006. But the people of the informal settlement of Khayelitsha says the DA's policies are anti-poor.
What is this view on the bylaw that has been implemented by the city of Cape Town to demolish all informal settlements that are existing? We don't wish DA to lead the country. We just don't wish DA to lead the country. I wish that all these black political parties can unite against it.
Here, the ANC hopes to win the majority votes on the 1st of November.
ANC is fighting for our rights. ANC is giving us jobs. You see, ANC is doing everything for black people. ANC is our party. We will never leave ANC. We will always support ANC forever.
27 years after South Africa became a democracy, some young people have become disillusioned. They say the ANC did not deliver on its promises, but they don't trust new young parties either.
We don't have toiletries in our school, and we're not safe. We want a good fence, and we don't have textbooks. So I came here to tell our parents that before they vote, they must think about us, learners. We don't have textbooks.
He's been here in 2019 giving us promises that he's going to deliver for the residents of Kanukando, but nothing has happened, right? So today, We are not expecting anything from him. We are just here to view him because we are going to get more promises from these leaders.
Many young people don't feel that the ANC will bring change to their situation anymore. This is why some analysts expect that the most young people yet will be staying away from the voting stations in the upcoming municipal elections.
Thursday marks exactly 5 years since Cameroon's deadliest railway accident ever. 79 passengers died with around 600 others injured, according to disputed official figures. Following the derailment in the central town of Esika, the government promised to compensate victims and construct a memorial, but progress has been slow. Our team spoke to family members still seeking answers.
Thomas Disake's wife disappeared without a trace. All he has left are a few photos.
The train was there.
October 21, 2016 marked a turning point in the barrister's life. His wife Dorothée was among over 1,000 passengers on board Camrail train 152 when it derailed. The accident happened in Ezeka along the Yaoundé-Douala railway line. Dorothée has since never been seen. Authorities have refused to respond to Thomas's many requests for answers.
The question is still there. It is fundamental. Where did my wife go? If she is dead, where did her body go? What state was it in? Do the authorities have the right to hide what happened to my wife's body?
The Cameroonian government is building a memorial for victims. Works began in 2018. It was meant to take 3 months but still hasn't finished. The site of the monument is also a source of frustration for some. Most victims perished when at least 4 cars tipped over into the ravine. It is now covered in grass.
We must go to the places where the tragedy really happened, because most of the dead were left there. The bodies have not been found. People are looking for their bodies until today, 5 years after the tragedy.
At least 82 people died in the accident. 600 others were injured and 7 are officially missing. Just was on the ill-fated train. The 28-year-old former law student who underwent neck surgery and has been left disabled. He says he hasn't been adequately compensated by Camrail.
I don't think anyone can live if they don't have mobility in their head, because I have trouble turning my neck like everyone else. All I want is for Camrail to reconsider its compensation procedure for victims who are still suffering today.
Camrail claims to have paid off 91% of the victims and families of those killed and says everyone who suffered material damages because of the derailment has been compensated.
That's all for this edition of Eye on Africa, but do stay with us here on France 24. More news and information up next.